But first, it is now time for the heavyweights. Scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, please welcome David Allen.
He's no stranger to the big stage, David Allen, but it's been a while. He was a go-to guy on pay-per-views for quite some time. He's headlined the O2 with that win against Lucas Brown, that big win on the undercard against Nick Webb as well. And he's just soaking this up. But we know, Matt, that he does have ability. Earlier in his career, he took fights at short notice, he didn't train properly. It was too much about, look how many punches I can take. What we're told is that his mindset has shifted. A crucial thing, I know we both think this, is the corner. They can't do any fighting for him, but you know Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis, they are not going to take someone on unless they believe that there is a point to it, unless they feel he's got something real to give.
No, because first of all, they're not on that type of blow, either of them, but also they're too busy. They've got to thrive them. You know, they've got a good camp there, a busy camp, a winning camp, and they wouldn't have took Dave Allen on without having, you know, probably several serious conversations with him to make sure that his heart's in the game and that he's here to win, not to survive, not to compete, to win.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, here is Frazer, Clarke.
Hey, now, hey, see here. There you go. Nobody works like David in this house. Come on. Get 17. Get over, son. Get 18. Over, son. Get 19. Over, son. And 20. You got 4. 21. Get it. Come on. Let's see. Good. Carry the boots in the foremost. That's you. Come on, 23. 24. One more, man. One more. The boots. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You did it. Yeah.
A lot was expected of Frazer Clarke when he turned professional. A lot is still expected of him now. This is an interesting fight that he's got on his hands here. George, I enjoyed the discussion on stage in the studio. You were correct at the mind games. And what happened yesterday, Dave Allen has Anna described it, killing Frazer with kindness, and then just kind of flipping the script on him a bit when the weigh-in was over. It was an interesting quality.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch, and sometimes it can have an effect, Andy. It certainly can have an effect. Pressure's on Frazer Clarke. You know, he's the Olympian, he's the big name attraction, he's the one that they're trying to fast-track now for his pro career. He's in there with Dave Allen tonight, a wily old pro, a clever old pro, and Jamie Moore there, he said he's going to old man him. We might just see some old man tactics in it tonight. I promise you, it's going to be fun to watch if that's the case.
Ladies and gentlemen, this heavyweight contest is scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds and is promoted by Ben Shalom and Boxer, live on Sky Sports Box Office and ESPN Plus. Brought to you by our headline partner, Bet365, and our official partners, Everlast, Wow Hydrate, Village Hotels, IFX Payments, and Workwear Express. Our referee in charge when the bell rings, Mark Lyson. Let's meet the fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with black trim, he stands 6 feet 3 inches tall. He weighed in at 18 stone professional record of 21 wins versus 5 losses and 2 draws, with 18 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Yorkshire, England. Ladies and gentlemen, the White Rhino, wearing the gray trunks with black trim, he stands 6 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed in at 19 stone 4 pounds. He comes to us with a perfect, undefeated record of 7 wins, no defeats, with 5 of those wins coming by way of knockout. And he fights out of Burton-on-Trent, England. Introducing the former Olympic bronze medalist and Commonwealth gold medalist, Frazer Big Face
Okay, boys, don't know the rules. Want you to obey my commands. Tell you to break clean. Defend yourselves at all times, boys. Okay, touch gloves. Good luck to you both.
Mark Lyson in charge of this one, and as you can see, there is already barely an empty seat in the house here. A steely stare-off. They know each other well. So they're scheduled for 10 at heavyweight. Frazer Clarke in the silver and black. Allen in the white and black. Clarke early on there, taller of the two, looking to try and find a right hand into the body.
You know, Frazer isn't going to bring anything to this fight that David Allen hasn't already seen. You know, but I can't really say the same for Frazer. You know, he's very orthodox, well-schooled, technically good, very inexperienced as a professional. Where David Allen, very experienced, been around the block a few times, been in there, been out of his depth, been in fights, been competitive, been hurt, had some big knockouts as well. So this is a big step up from the class that Big Frazer's been fighting as a professional.
With that high guard there, Allen, those gloves up nice and high, dropped that lead left hand just a second ago. He does offer you the body to an extent, just tucking up behind the shoulder there and getting out of the way of that right hand from Clarke, who's trying to establish the jab early on.
Yeah, Allen already here giving Frazer a lot of different looks. The hands are sometimes high, way above his head, sometimes they're low. Obviously, Ned doesn't want to get caught in between hand position. And Frazer will look to try and take advantage of that, as he did just then.
Decent jab there from Allen, who just feints with that front foot. Clarke, who's settled at around about 19 and a bit in terms of his weight the last 4 or 5 fights, and every time we see him, that physique, that body composition just looks a little bit better.
Frazer just wants to keep it long, keep him on the jab, keep bagging these rounds until he can work Allen out a little bit, maybe soften him up a bit too.
Got that feel of Allen. He hasn't thrown a lot of punches yet this round. He's trying to get the measure of Frazer. He's trying to get him to engage. He wants to feel his power, feel what his best shots are.
Left hand into the body there from Clarke. First time we've really seen him go for that. Tries to cuff with the right hand. Caught on the gloves by Allen. Just trying to go up and down with the jab there, Clarke. To the head, then down to the body.
time to go the right hand on the side.
I mean, that was a Clarke round, but I think Alan just having a look, trying to get a bit of work out of it.
No, definitely, Matt.
Through the middle.
And Clarke just stepping into the middle of the ring at the beginning of round 2 and looking for a big overhand right. Aimed the uppercut there, Clarke. Wasn't quite close enough with it. That's a good solid right hand down into the body. He's just set his feet at the beginning of the round and looked for that kind of long right hook almost.
Yeah,
Couple up to the head, one down to the body.
You're right, and he started changing the angle at the right hand. His head and body now, sometimes it comes up through the middle, right uppercut. It's got a response from Alan, who's now had to close the distance.
Well, just as, you know, Alan's trying to get a bit of work, trying to force a pace on Clarke, Clarke's just got to really try and take what he gives him. Don't, you know, if he gives you the body, go for it, and conserve energy as well. He doesn't want to be wasting. He doesn't want to win these rounds massively. He just got to, because you're only going to win them 10-9 anyway, so he's got to try and back the round, but constantly conserve energy for the later second half of the fight.
Nice three-punch combination there from Clarke. The third punch, a straight right hand got through, nice and sharp. He did that 10 rounds against Marisvac in the sweltering heat of York Hall back in June. Won every round there, and he was definitely erring on the side of caution that night in terms of the gas tank. Anybody would in those conditions, and getting through that would have done plenty for him. But he's looking more aggressive early on here, just looking to turn the screw a bit here.
Little smile there from Frazer Clarke. And if there's any whispering going on in close quarters. Alan can show his experience, like even without punching at this stage, he's able to back Clarke up onto the ropes. Clarke's comfortable, he's the one who's punching, he's still on the offence. But Alan is controlling at least the positioning in the ring for the vast majority of the fight so far.
Looking for the left uppercut almost off the back of the longish right hand there, Clarke, and he's just tried a few different things in this second round. Jab gets through there from Alan. He hasn't had much success so far, though.
You know what things come now? How we doing? Good? Right. The jab is working, yeah? We keep doing the jab. Every time you jab, you've got to keep stepping. Two things, okay? When you're on the inside with him, you've got to lock the arms, bro. Don't bring the hands on the inside of his arms because his arms are free. And he caught you there with the right hand, yeah? On the inside, big side, lock the arms. When you go to the ropes, yeah, do not go with the lead hand back down. And also, do not initiate with the right hand.
David Hay and Kell Brook in shot there, and just down the back does Chris Congo, Joshua Boatsy. I saw a few moments ago. Dan Aziz is here as well, Jamie TKV, plenty of fighters flocking to this one. Manchester and this arena in particular, it really does pull people in. Alan early in the round, in the third, just looking for a little sneaky right hand over the top there. He's not been too expansive, too ambitious so far, but there's a plan here, and he lets that one go again, and that has worked for him in the past. That massive win he had against Nick Webb, that was courtesy of that big overhand right.
I think as a team, Jamie Moore, Dave Allen, Nigel Travis, they would have spoke at length about how tactics of the fight. And I think they'd have happily concede the first few rounds as long as they're making Frazer work harder than he wants to. Good uppercut.
uppercut on the inside there as he was pushed back into the ropes from Clarke, but Allen's already looking a bit more aggressive actually at the start of this round, George. He's trying to close that gap and then get away with that big overhand right.
Yeah, he's landed that loopy overhand right. I mean, Clarke showed no effects of it yet, but it's not that far away, and it's a big shot that comes in.
Yeah, and as I was saying, you know, in regard to conceding the rounds as you're getting the timing, as you're getting the read of the opponent, in this case Frazer.
Slips the jab nicely there, Allen. Trying to get his own jab off. Clarke just pawing a little bit, bearing up the power. Moves in and grabs hold. A solid uppercut there from Clarke, but Allen took it pretty well, left to the body from Clarke, but Allen's just, he's taking these and trying to get some work of his own off. Well, the referee calls time there, and he will tell Frazer Clarke off here, because that one was low. You look at the protector there of David Allen, and the belt line, the top of the belt line is below the top of the protector, so anything that hits the belt is absolutely a low blow. We talked about this at length over the last few days, and the referee just calling them together.
Jab is good from Clarke tonight. I'd like to see a little bit more of it, rather than just a half jab measure for a big right hand. He can start pumping that jab out of his face. It will have an effect.
But he'd look to close the gap a bit more in that round, Matt, and try and let go with that big right hand over the top.
Yeah, he did, and he got close a couple of times, and I agree with George. You know, he's got to not just paw with the jab, he's got to really stamp it in and back the jab out there, because you know, also he won't become predictable or readable with it, because Allen's trying to get the timing of the jab so he can come over the top with the right hand. So it's, you know, he's got to use some feints, he's got to jab the body, maybe some slow jabs, then some hard jabs. He's got to, doesn't want to get too predictable with the jab.
Joseph Parker, someone we're very familiar with, down at ringside in the front row over on the far side. It'll be interesting to see what's next for him. At heavyweight, we saw him against Jack Massey. Massey making that unbelievable step up, really, and did so well, going the distance coming up from cruiserweight. So into the fourth round here. This is scheduled for 10. Frazer Clarke, the Tokyo Olympian bronze medalist, in the black and grey. David Allen, an experienced campaigner, in the white and black.
Stop boxing! Stop boxing! Again, Dave. Thank God. Thank God.
Allen just getting a hold of Clarke there and walking him back towards the ropes. There's a stone difference between the pair of them, just under, in favour of Frazer Clarke, who lets his hands go and then looks to get hold of Allen and walk him back a little bit. That right hand looks a bit low to me, to be honest, but it was on the blind side of the referee, and I think maybe that was what Allen wasn't too happy about. Mark Lyson couldn't really have seen that one. Clarke looked for a right hand over the top. That half got through, but it was heavy.
Yeah, he looked a nice uppercut through the middle as well.
Some of the old man tactics coming in now. Allen, the smaller guy, but just a great right hand over the top. That's right on Frazer Clarke's chin.
It's quite an unorthodox shot, isn't it, the way he throws it? He dips off to the left-hand side, kind of shovels it up over the top, but it comes in diagonally almost. And there he goes again, just crabbing in off to his left-hand side, and then gets it up over the top in an unusual trajectory, really, would probably be the best way to describe that.
He almost kind of steps into the southpaw position, doesn't he, to try and find the angle for it.
He does, he lets that right hand, he lets that right leg sort of flow through. It's maximal committal on that shot.
Allen looking for the uppercut. He's trying a few different moves on Clarke, but Clarke stayed nice and compact.
There's that looping right hand, kind of fall through with his foot, but he's just getting a little bit closer. Yeah, decent shot.
And again there, he really put something on that. Frazer Clarke evaded it without too much of a problem, and he's winning these rounds, and he's looking nice and solid. He's keeping his composure. He's not doing anything wrong here, Frazer Clarke. Leading off with a nice left uppercut there.
I feel like Frazer Clarke is more dangerous just at that punching range right now. He's the one who's closing distance, but he's better off keeping it at that sort of mid to long range. And again, I'm always up and on about it. Let's get a bit more of that jab game going and start putting some meat behind that jab. Stiffen the legs of Allen in front of him with the jab, and then every shot you could ever wish to throw can come from that.
Just taps to the body there, Clarke, right up above us. And then just set his feet and through the uppercut. Didn't travel too far. And the referee, Mark Lyson, has got his work cut out here to a degree. There's not too much going on, but they're all, well, with a pair of them just trying the odd thing every now and again. And again, he just has a chat with Allen there about pushing down, I think. There's that uppercut again. He's caught Allen with that 3-4 times as he's making his way in. It hasn't made a dent yet. A little bit of blood coming from the mouth there of David Allen.
I'd see Frazer have a bit more authority in that jab, really. You know, put some pop into it, just instead of just pouring with it.
Good lad.
So heading up towards the midway point of the fight, and left uppercut again there from Clarke. He's landed that shot left and right a good few times in the last couple of rounds, and solid though the chin of David Allen has always been. He's taken one low there, wheels away immediately, and the referee will give him some time to recover here. And there's a little bit of blood coming from the left corner of the left eye there of Frazer Clarke as well, which I would guess would be from a head clash. I'm not certain of that. As I said earlier, we talked about low blows a lot during the course of last week. It might just be a little bit of a transfer of blood, that. And again, now he's claiming a low blow, David Allen. OK, well, he's got plenty to say to Mark Lyson. Let's go down ringside to Andy.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I'm with Joseph Parker and Vidal Riley. Joseph, there's plenty going on in this, not all legal. How are you seeing it so far?
Listen, Frazer is in control. I mean, Dave's trying to put up a big fight, but Frazer's controlling the fight from the beginning.
He's obviously targeting that body. Do you like that tactic?
I think the tactic is always nice to break down the body, and it opens up with the big hit shots.
Vidal, you agree with what you're seeing there? Have you got Frazer in front?
Definitely, I've got Frazer in front. It's good to see him settled, picking his punches. Not everything's hard, you know. Dave Allen's pushing the pace. He just uses jab a bit more, keep him away from the clinches, but Frazer's comfortable.
Final word to you. How's everything going? On track for September 30th at York Hall?
We're ready to be champion. We're ready to be champion. But it ain't about me today, but I'm excited. I'm ready for the end of the month.
It's good to see you. Enjoy the rest of your night, both of you.
Thank you, man. Love.
Well, there's that left hand, and that's on the belt line, but you can see the protector riding up above the top of the belt line. Any punch that lands on the protector is by definition a foul. I'm not going to get into it at length because it's been talked about enough, but that left hand again there is low. Every time he hits him on the belt line, that is a low blow, and the referee's taking a point here, and I think he's justified in doing it. And Mark Lyson just giving him time here. You can take as much as 5 minutes. He won't want it or need it, David Allen, but sometimes fighters are well advised just to take a little bit longer. And he's got to be careful, Frazer Clarke. And again, David Allen protests, and another point goes, and it's quite simply, Matt, he has got to get those punches up, because hitting the belt line is sitting on top of the protector. If you hit the belt line, you're hitting the protector, and that is a foul.
He's probably just better off staying off the body for a bit, getting back on the jab, focus on the head, and just go from there, especially after you just had 2 points up. I'd stay away from the body now.
Looking for the uppercut there, Clarke. He's banked those first 5 rounds, but he's had a 2-point deduction there, and Allen this time again gives a reaction, but Mark Lyson decided that one was okay. Nice uppercut there from Clarke, and this is just beginning to catch fire a little bit. If you're scoring this on the app, by the way, don't deduct any points. Just score it without the point deductions. They will come off automatically, and that's always the best thing to do with deductions. Just score the round, regardless of the deductions. That's what the judges do at ringside, and it will get taken off at the end. Long right hand there from Clarke. And just to remind people as well, 2 points have gone for the same thing here for Frazer Clarke, but it's not 3 strikes and you're out. It's not the case that if Mark Lyson judges another one low, that he'll have to disqualify him. That is not something that's ever in operation. Everything is at the discretion of the referee. He can take 10 points off you for the same thing if he wants to. Great uppercut there from Clarke.
Yeah, nice shot, right hook, then right uppercut through the middle. Good work from Clarke.
And he's made a conscious effort not to throw one body shot since that second point coming off, which I think is a really wise thing to do for him right now. A bit more volume from Clarke.
Well, that was low. That was absolutely low, that right hand. That really was low. And Mark Lyson is going to have to take another point here. Well, I say he's going to have to. He doesn't have to. As I said, he doesn't have to do anything, but he's already taken a couple off him, and Frazer Clarke has got to be really careful here. Really, really careful. And I agree with you two. Just leave it alone. Leave those body shots alone.
I mean, it's hard sometimes because your body's programmed into certain combinations. You just throw them, you know, without even thinking about the shots. That, you know, 3-4 points, and you finish on the body, whatever. But he has to be conscious here not to throw those body shots.
Nice 1-2 there from Clarke. The referee didn't take a point that time. Very close with the uppercut there, Clarke, on the inside. Missed by a fraction. Nice long right hand. Allen was just moving backwards as it landed, and then he just looks to try and sling that right hand in around the back of the guard, and he's putting his foot to the floor a little bit here, Frazer, Clarke.
Yeah, that was better from him. He used the feint, stepped in, straight right hand.
Okay, so let's have a look at some of these low blows. This is the first one. Look at that belt. It's on top of the protector. So that left hand lands slap bang on the belt. But because the belt is on top of the protector, that is a foul. That protector is just around the belly button, and Mark Lyson is waving the fight over. David Allen, I think, has retired in the corner, essentially. As he was on his way back to the corner there, George, he did kind of shake his head a little bit at Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis. A conversation was had, and that is a retirement, and I wonder whether that is down to the low blows. It's hard for us to tell at this point.
It could be quite possible. I think, looking at the corner,
Jaw damage.
there's a problem with his jaw, I think, Andy. We can see promoter Ben Shalom in the corner, motioning to the jaw. He did take a few big right hands from Frazer Clarke there at the end of that round.
Yeah, he threw his feinted the jab, stepped in, straight right hand, really good shot. Also, there were a couple of uppercuts, I think, that landed pretty cleanly.
And there was some blood coming from the mouth from quite early. Now that could be a number of things. Damage to the lips. You can bite your own lips when you get hit hard, but sometimes that could be evidence of some more serious damage. But you're right, that's the reason for it. And these two just having a conversation centering now, and I think they're now friends again. Or maybe not, actually. Just hoping we might be able to hear a little bit of that, but it's so noisy in here. And this is right at the end of the round. He walks back to the corner, a little bit of a shake of head, and then you can see him just working that jaw. Referee Mark Lyson just collecting the slips, and then Jamie Moore goes over and tells him that it's over. 6 rounds in. In earlier days, that's exactly the kind of thing that Allen may have just recklessly continued with, that kind of injury. So it's good to see him pull himself out, essentially, if he's got damage to the jaw, because another blow on it, then that could be catastrophic, really.
I think it's his ear as well, Andy.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Lyson calls a stop to this contest at the end of the 6th round, declaring your winner due to a corner retirement and still undefeated, Frazer Big Fraze Clarke!
So Frazer Clarke gets the win by stoppage. The conversation between the pair of them is continuing here. I'm not exactly sure what this is about, but hopefully Frazer Clarke will be able to tell us when we hear from him, which we will do when we come back in about a minute or so.
I
Frazer Clarke, congratulations, a win. It's probably not how you wanted it to end or how you thought it would end, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, all credit to Dave. First of all, rest in peace, Levi Coleman. God bless you, brother. Yeah, not vintage again, but if you're going to learn on the job, let me tell you, Dave Mann is the man to do it with. Feet were a bit lackluster, but there's some good stuff in there as well. Yeah, he's a tough man, like I knew he would be. I tried my variation, and it didn't backfire on me. Listen, it's a fighting game, and I'm a clean fighter. If it strayed low in the heat of battle, then I apologise to Dave right now. It was never intentional. But I felt a few of them was good shots, and I felt like him being an experienced pro with an experienced corner, they tried to manipulate the referee. You know, they've obviously followed the media, what's been going on the last few weeks, and, you know, fair play to them, they tried to use their advantage.
Yeah, so Dave retired with a perforated eardrum, so we hope he's okay. On that particularly, once you've had 2 points off though, are you running the risk by going back down there? Whether you agree or not, you were running the risk of another point and then down the line of disqualification?
You're on a tightrope, aren't you? You're on a massive tightrope. But I don't believe in risking it and not doing it. I believe it makes the people cautious of the area, and I believe it leaves other gaps. I trust in my ability to land the shots properly afterwards. And once again, they might have strayed, they might not have. But I trust in myself, and I believed if I kept going to the body, them shots were genuine and they were hurting him.
Yeah, did you believe that you were breaking down? He is always dangerous, and he was always dangerous. You got a nick over the eye and a little welt under the eye. That's the nature of the business.
Yeah, the coach, Angel in the corner, he weren't mad at me. Carrying that low lead and a trait I've got to get out of. But in the heat of battle, you know, things happen. And I managed to just, you know, stay on my feet a couple of times. They gave me some good shots, more on the inside, you know, them little clubby ones around the head. They really do scramble your brain, but like I said to him in the ring, he's an experienced man. He knows what he's doing. Just pre-warning all of you fans of his, he'll be making a joke about it later on his Instagram, saying there were low blows, but he's clever, he wants a rematch, he wants more dough. I understand it and I get it, but I'm going to go back to the gym and improve. I need to look after my body for a little bit now, a few weeks off. Back to the gym, improve and go again.
What's next for you? There's a host of names. Dennis Hobson making his thoughts known there, calling for a rematch. You've got the likes of Wardley, Adelaide, and Jamie TKV, who's in studio tonight for us.
Yeah, Dennis Hobson's over here, like a fake dull boy trying to spin a deal. He wants some more rematch. Probably robbed Dave his whole career and probably looking to do it again, so I can understand that. But he won't be getting a rematch, and I'll be moving on. Them names you said, you know, they're all great names, and they'll look at that and take optimism from it. But believe me, I'm going to go back to the gym and keep on proving, because God knows I need to.